Alright, the Gamesense Meta is an S2 inspired, not clone or copy, but inspired mouse with a 3360 Kill 4.0s on all buttons, and it weighs 65 grams. So I've seen this mouse get a lot of hype recently, and I really want to know or tell you guys whether or not I think this mouse is actually worth the hype and worth the $60 price point. So the first thing I want to talk about is the shape, and like I mentioned earlier, it is S2 inspired. The Zowie S2, that is. It's very similar in that dimension aspect. It's a little bit smaller. It's on the smaller side. It's like 119 millimeters long. My hands are 20 by 10. Honestly, with the shape, I had really no issue getting used to it. It's sort of like the Viper Mini in the aspect that it can be a small mouse that even people with medium to larger hands could potentially adapt to and get used to. My favorite grip style to use of this was claw, but that might be just biased because that is my main grip style. But medium to larger handed people should be able to do claw pretty well. Palm grip, I would probably say that for the smaller handed people, and fingertip grip also seems pretty passable here. So yeah, overall shape, it's pretty great just on the smaller side, but it's kind of like the Viper Mini. People with larger hands could even use this if they really wanted to, but it's not ideal. The back hump, you can see, kind of starts at the middle and ends at the end. I liked it. It filled up my palm pretty well. Now the next thing I want to talk about are the buttons and main clicks. So on the left and right mouse button, you got Kill 4.0s that are been to be lighter, and these things are really light, snappy, crisp, tactile, pretty much all you want in a mouse switch. I think they did these very well. So yeah, they're pretty light, pretty much good for performance in my eyes. Usually I like lighter weighted switches for performance. Got me covered there. Travel is pretty minimal, but whenever you get to like the deeper stages of the travel, there can be slight mush on my right mouse button. There haven't been that many meta reviews out so far. This mouse is decently new, or at least new to the public. You know, I'm not entirely sure if this is something that's going to pop up on a lot of copies, but yeah, my right mouse button, the more you bottom out, the more kind of mush there is. It's not a lot. It's something that really impacted me in game, but it's something I noticed. The left mouse button kind of has a slight amount of mush, but nowhere near as much as the right mouse button on my unit. Another issue I had on my right mouse button from the mush, that sometimes it would squeak. Now this did not happen very often. It's kind of like once in a while type of deal, but I'm very curious to see if that would really develop over time. I have been using this for nearly 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, there is a small squeak on the right mouse button. Not on the left though, for some reason. Again, I don't know if this is gonna happen on all units or just mine. The meta is pretty new. But yeah, overall, besides the minor mush and the minor squeaking, I would say the mouse buttons on this are great. They're definitely above average, and really kind of something you see in like a top tier mouse for way more money. So that's really nice to see on this mouse. Talking about these side buttons, they kind of remind me of the super light side buttons, just bigger, like vertically they're bigger. The front one has very little travel and it feels great. It just has a tiny bit of travel though. My back one though has some mush, so a little bit of an inconsistency here on the side buttons. There is some mush on my back one. Something that really made me worse in game, but it's something that you can definitely tell. Kind of disappointing there to see that inconsistency, but I mean, still overall, I would say side buttons are solid, great shape, easy to locate with my thumb. But yeah, you just wouldn't want to see that mush be eliminated on the back one. Now talking about the scroll wheel, but yeah, the steps are, I would say, defined. Definitely a good amount of definition. Not like really nothing I had to complain about. But there is scroll wheel rattle, unfortunately. Whenever I shake my mouse, I can almost feel it in here. I don't know if the mic really picked that up. And whenever I just scroll the mouse, you can kind of feel it rattle just a tiny bit, which is, you know, again, just like the squish on the other buttons, it's not something you want to see. And I don't really know if this is wide scale. I have seen Too Much Tech complain about this in his review. So yeah, it looks like this is popping up in other copies. The scroll wheel. Like the main button I would have wanted to see them improve would be the scroll wheel here. I mean, the rattle is kind of annoying, and it does kind of have that pencil sharpener noise whenever you scroll it, but overall, wrapping up the buttons, they are overall good. I would say above average for this mouse. Just there is some minor inconsistencies for mush wise on the side buttons and left and right mouse button, and the scroll wheel, there is rattle, which disappointing, but overall, I mean, I think it's usable. I think it'll treat you well in game, but yeah, hopefully they can improve those minor things in the future. The buttons do not double click out of the box. They are making software. It's not out yet, but they are making software for this mouse, and I'm not entirely sure if they're doing an adjustable debounce time or not. So this is for our Minecraft players, I'm saying. So adjustable debounce time will probably enable double clicking. I'm not 100% sure, but usually it does. But yeah, keep that in mind. Right now, out of the box, no double clicks. Moving on to the coating. They tried to get something like the super light coating, and I would say they're actually really close. This is a great coating. It's really nice to grip. It does pick up oils. On mine, I've used mine for maybe like 2, almost 3 weeks now. There is only slight oil pickup. Maybe I'll pull up my macro lens later and try to show you guys if it does show up. But yeah, there is slight oil buildup. It's kind of disappointing, but you know, I would say it's a fair trade-off for getting this good of a coating. I mean, I think oil buildup is really hard to avoid in coatings like these. It is rubberized coating. It's a great coating, and for Minecraft players, it is actually really easy to drag click on. So yeah, there's a bonus from Minecraft players. But again, it doesn't double click yet, so I don't know if that really is a bonus. But yeah, moving on to build quality and QC. I already mentioned my issues with the buttons, but talking about like flexing and stuff, this mouse actually does flex a little bit whenever you squeeze it. It's something that really popped up in game. Unless you have like bear grip, it's really not going to pop up or affect you. So really, I can see this mouse overall like lasting a while. I'm just worried about the buttons. Talking about glide, this does use PTFE feet, 100% PTFE feet, which is kind of standard nowadays. I would say, you know, like obviously with stock feet, it's like very rare to find something as good as core pads, but these also weren't bad. They're like middle of the pack. Like you could use these if you really wanted to. If you have like a speed pad like a Heian, you probably don't really even need to switch out the feet. I mean, it feels great, but of course, you know, core pads, you know, always does give you a bonus. It's just not the most necessary bonus for this mouse. It's 65 grams, which is actually like really lightweight for the current mouse market. So yeah, that's nice. Gliding overall was, you know, really fast and easy to use and smooth. Like I mentioned earlier, the sensor is a 3360. Out of the box, you may have some liftoff distance issues, but they do have a firmware on their Discord that does correct it and lowers it to 1mm. I highly advise you get that firmware. It made the mouse feel way better. But yeah, after that, no lag or skips. Sensor was great. Talking about the software, they don't have one yet. So they are currently trying to get one made. So yeah, look out for that in the future. Now, I want to touch upon the Minecraft side of things because a lot of my viewers actually do play Minecraft, so I like to include this in my videos. The main things I'm going to be talking about is whether or not it can jitter, it can butterfly, or it can drag click. It can jitter great. It has very little travel on the left mouse button. The kill 4 panels are light and easy to press. They feel great. Definitely feels better jittering on this than something like a Model O. So yeah, if you're a jitter player, you're going to have a good time with this mouse. If you're a butterfly clicker or drag clicker, or really anyone who's going for higher CPS clicking methods, this mouse is not there yet. Again, does not double click, but yeah, but it might in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, for the time being, does not double click, so therefore it does not excel in butterfly clicking or drag clicking. Now, this Minecraft portion, I'm not gonna count towards it in the final conclusion. This is something I like to add for my Minecraft viewers. So now let's talk about like overall just price and the conclusion for this mouse. This mouse is $60. It is pretty widespread on like a lot of your common mouse retailers, like Lethal Gaming Gear has them, Gamesense website has them, a lot of other retailers have them. So this mouse is pretty easy to access for the $60 price point. Okay, now before I tell you whether or not I think it's worth it, let me just tell you whether or not I think this is even a good mouse, price aside. I think this mouse is actually great, price aside. It's definitely not like top tier, S tier premium, again, because I had my minor build quality issues with it, but it still packs a punch with performance. I think the Kale 4.0s are implemented great on this mouse. I like how they put them on every single button. That was good. It's lightweight, the shape is great. It's definitely got a lot of the features you really want in a mouse. Maybe it's a bit too small for some people, but overall I think it packs great features. Just the build quality is what really worries me here. I'm not sure if the minor issues I had will be on your copy. Now, do I think it's worth the $60 price point? Now, that's a very tough one because you have very good mice around that range. You have the XM1R that's exactly $60. You have the Pulsefire Haste that's even cheaper for $50. You can go with like a Zowie C series for $70. Like, you have a lot of options around that price range. You can get a Orochi. Like, there's a lot of things you can do with that kind of money. Honestly, for $60, I think there is better out there. For example, the XM1R, I think is a better buy than this mouse. But for those that already own these things like the XM1R and all that, or really want this exact shape, I don't think you go wrong for $60. I don't think it's overpriced or anything like that. I just think it's in a very competitive market. But hey, yeah, if you really want this mouse, then yeah, go for it. I mean, it's gonna be fine. Just watch out for the QC, I said. But yeah, overall, Gamesense made a great mouse. Definitely not top tier, or I would say best for its price point, but can't go wrong. It's a good mouse. But yeah, thank you Gamesense for actually sending this out to me. It was an honor trying it, and yeah, I think some ways this mouse could actually improve was, you know, touching up the build quality and QC on some of their products, and overall just remove the RGB, to be honest with you. You could probably cut out a few grams, make this mouse even lighter. I mean, they even have an RGB button on the back. Like, there's a lot of potential to remove some weight. That's my little 2 cents. I mean, obviously, no, I'm not a mouse engineer or anything, so I don't know what's best for it, but yeah, if I can improve this mouse, I would touch up QC and remove the RGB panels and everything.